Hey, Loco sports fans, happy Monday. It's November 10th. Do you know where your children are? But November 10th, Monday, we are into week 2 of the high school football postseason. We had 16 candles on the cake Friday night, 10 of them extinguished, just 6 teams standing. And we'll have a guest. We'll have a couple guests tonight. In fact, from one of those 6, and the least likely among them, one that
No kidding.
we did not have it on our picks, but we were excited to miss that one. Wyatt Harmer and Davis Cargill from the Hilton Head Prep Dolphins going to join us in just a few minutes. They're waiting backstage, enjoying the snacks and drinks, and we're looking forward to hearing more about this 27-26 win over Calhoun Academy because we have scant details, to say the least, about how that went down. So looking forward to getting what should be an exciting recap from them and looking ahead to their semifinal matchup. Other upsets went down, of course. Bluffton falling was a big shocker.
Yeah.
That one went against us. But the two teams that we pegged all year long as our top contenders, Hilton Head and Hampton County, marching on, along with Hilton Head Christian, and we still have a chance for a SCISA 1A All Loco final with both Carlton
Dude,
Prep and Thomas Hayward still kicking. So we'll talk about all of that on the show, presented by Mickelson Law Firm and WHHI TV, our all-star sponsors. Mickelson Law Firm with us since the beginning, our presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage and our official real estate closing attorney. You can call on them for all your legal needs. Mickelson Law Firm in downtown Bluffton, and WHHI TV. Marcus Walsh always repping here on the Lowdown and on Buford's Own, and he's quite the journeyman these days. A
Yes, indeed.
mercenary, if you will. But no, WHHI TV, a great partner in local sports coverage, and we appreciate all y'all's contributions to this local sports community. And it's a great team effort with
Right back
WHHI
at you, my
TV and
man.
Loco
Right back at
Sports.
you.
But how'd you boys fare this weekend?
yeah, I'm staying warm.
It's
Yeah.
cold out
No
there.
kidding.
I say
Freezing.
frio.
Yeah, the, the low country. It's gonna get close to freezing tomorrow or tonight into tomorrow. So, yeah, make sure to stay warm. And it's starting to feel like winter sports season. It is coming soon. With
Right.
USC basketball starting on Friday, the women are in action for Friday and Saturday basketball. So it's crossover season. It's coming as we get high school hoops started in a few weeks. But man, had a great time covering some Hilton High football and a tremendous performance by the Seahawks. But man, I am just in awe of what Hilton had prepped. I cannot wait to talk to those fellas, and for someone who have really watched them throughout the last couple of weeks, especially seeing them at home a few weeks ago and just seeing the strides they made has been really impressive. And
Yep.
I'm pumped for, we lost a good amount of teams, but at the same time I'm very excited for what Hilton Head, what Hampton County doing, and I hope at least one team will give us a reason to make the trip to Charleston next weekend, get some East Bay Deli, and watch some football. So I'm excited. This is one of my favorite times of the year, and I'm pumped to do it again on Friday, and with the promise of what's looking like. I have a feeling that some teams are gonna push this forward at least one more week. We'll see if Hilton Head or Hampton County can push it further than that. But I'm pumped for this Hilton Head prep team, man, and just so excited for them.
Well,
Yeah.
without further ado, we might as wait. We didn't let Marcus talk about his weekend. I'm sorry. Didn't
Sorry.
mean to cut you off.
That's all right. It was a really busy one. Obviously, calling the Bluffton Gilbert game on Friday, and then Saturday kind of recharged the batteries a little bit. But there was a big race on Sunday, yesterday morning, that I was in with the Funky Bunch and the Funky Bunch's family. Some of the family there, and so did that. Had Choral Society, of course, big concert coming up December the 5th. Took care of some of my other Sunday stuff on Saturday to do that race in the morning, and then getting ready, all ready for the first play-by-play call that I'll have officially on Beaufort's own of Hilton Head Wilson on Friday,
Oh, nice.
and then I'm doing double duty because I'm riding with Javon to not Atlanta but Morrow, Georgia, to do
Oh,
some football on
Clayton
Saturday,
State.
college football as well.
doubling up. Very
Clayton
nice.
State, and doing that game with him on the play by play call. So
Fantastic.
already getting after it, and it's been a busy start to the week already. But certainly so proud of certainly all the teams that we cover for sure. But especially the guys that we're going to have on here in just a couple of minutes because they have had a great season. I got to see them a couple times in the regular season, and I'm just so proud of everything
It's a
that they're
great story.
doing.
It's one of those
Absolutely.
stories that you love to be
They
part of.
battle so hard.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and get them in here. We got them waiting backstage. Wyatt Harmer and Davis Cargill from Hilton Head Prep. What's up, boys?
How's it going? Good to see y'all.
Gentlemen, how
Hey.
are we?
Good.
Good.
Can y'all hear us well?
Yeah, we got
Perfect.
you loud and clear.
Awesome.
Well, first of all, congratulations, fellas, on an incredible win. Definitely the kind of the win of the week in SCISA. I think the kind of headline grabber. It's been a weird season for you guys. I mean, we talked a lot about the first, 3 or 4 games. You hadn't played a game to completion, and it's just been kind of stop and start. And then you had that weird Tuesday game on short rest. And it feels like you haven't been able to get into a rhythm that much. But that JP2 game, you guys played really tough. Again with the HHCA game, just fought them tooth and nail. And then you come out this week and knock off Calhoun Academy. So tell us just a little bit about the ebb and flow of this season and when you felt like it started to come together.
I'll start, I guess, and then Davis, you can kind of give your opinion after this. Yeah, it was definitely tough at the beginning of the season, as you guys probably know. We didn't get to finish a game for the first 2 games due to weather, and then we had a couple of tough games after that, and we couldn't really find our rhythm on offense. We had an OC come in in the late summer, and so we were still getting some install in even into the season, and it was just hard to find our rhythm on the offense, and that we couldn't keep our defense off the field, and so it was tough there. And I think, as you guys mentioned before, we really found our stride. We got a win early against who was Augusta
St.
Christian.
John's? Oh yeah, Augusta.
Yeah.
Augusta
Yeah,
Christian.
24/7
And then
win.
yes, and so we played a great game then, and we found a little bit of rhythm on offense, and then lost it. And then I think the JP2 game, especially defensively, that's really where we kind of found our stride. And it's a big testimony to kind of how hard everybody on this team has worked. Coach challenged us before that game. He said, "Fellas, let's just make it a game. Like let's make it a close game we can fight for." And that's exactly what we did. And then obviously we played Christian Academy. They're a great team. That was a hard fought battle, and we just started kind of finding a little bit of belief in ourselves. And Coach said it's all about learning how to win, and I think that we demonstrated that, especially on Friday night against a great Calhoun team, and it was
Well,
good to see it all come together.
That's what it's all about. And tell me more about just how that game went down on Friday night and how you guys were able to pull, in my opinion, the upset of the year. I think in SCISA overall, at least in terms of 2A, no doubt about that. But possibly in terms of overall SCISA, just a tremendous performance by you guys. Tell us how you guys did it.
I mean, Davis, you can take this one and tell them what you think.
I think defensively, we had a good first drive. Got the early fumble. We were able to go down and score. I think that gave us a lot of momentum moving forward in that game. And I think just we kept having bigger plays and just kept building off of those. And I think we were in the game the whole time, and everybody just kept believing in themselves. And it was a hard fought battle to the end, and we were able to get it done. Everybody was doing their key roles and making big plays, and I think that really just allowed us to push through and get the win.
Yeah,
Did you
there's
go
a
back
couple
and
of
forth all night, or
no, actually, so I'll go over kind of some key plays here and I give some guys some shout outs who I really feel deserve it. But it was so we took the lead early and we didn't lose it until the fourth quarter. They got a good stop and then they scored a touchdown and then we went right back down and scored a touchdown and then we had a stand on like in the red zone at about the 15-yard line and they missed a field goal to win the game with about 30 seconds left.
How about that?
Wow.
And you were telling me earlier that the man to your left was the man the other night.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns. He's a humble guy and he won't admit it, but I mean he is the motor of our offense, and he had 4 touchdowns in a monster game. And yeah, I mean, and a big shout out. I mean, that's almost more of a testimony to our O line. I mean,
Yeah.
those
Sure.
guys
And
work their tails off.
and,
They
and
have the
that's
entire
exactly
off season.
it's exactly
and
I'm sure what Davis is going to mention. Just you know, give those guys their proper shout out and
Oh,
and
yeah.
Yes, sir, definitely.
respect for what they did to help propel you
One of
on
them's an 8th grader, right?
a
Yeah.
captain performance.
He's a hoss.
He starts on the
Great.
he starts on the D line. He's the biggest guy we've had on
Wow.
prep in years, and he is in 8th grade. He is a hoss. But I mean, you know the guys who are seniors
yeah.
that have been fighting for years. I mean, Tyler Bridgeke, Paulie
Absolutely. He's
Smith,
top of the list, in my
Yep.
opinion.
yeah,
Paulie,
Paulie
too.
Smith,
Yep.
Cole Mustard, and then
Yeah.
we have Cooper Hoff, and then Danny Guy.
Oh,
Those
yeah,
are
of course.
the seniors that have been fighting their tail off, along with Cooper, who's a sophomore, and it's we wanted all year to establish a run, and we really have done that the last couple of weeks. So a big shout out to those guys.
Your team this year, and this was my first time calling you guys, let alone seeing you guys in a few years, but your team this year actually kind of brought me back to when I was just starting in my first couple of years at WHHI, calling games on a semi-regular basis, let alone now. Where when everything is gelling, it's gelling, and you guys look absolutely sensational. And I have to admit, on just not seeing you guys for a couple of years, I forgot how good you guys look in terms of getting after it when things are going really well. I go back to that JP2 game, which I called. I also saw you guys at the Hilton Head Christian Academy game. Didn't have the call on it though. That JP2 game, even though it was a loss for you guys, I was so impressed with certainly Davis, your ability to take stride, look upfield as you're moving, have that quick first step. And then Wyatt, of course, with your ability to lead the offense, certainly make some plays through the pass game. But I forgot about your ability, certainly, and how great you are of a runner and kind of the escapability. And you guys said that you added some help on the offensive side with new coaching and whatnot, I believe. Talk a little bit about what you've been doing throughout the season, especially early on with the conditions not being great at home, to work on those things and really turn a corner into the season, which obviously has really been quite good for you guys, especially over the last month.
What do you? I mean, you're the running back. What do you think?
Well, I think the offense kind of just really came together. I think our O line has a very good relationship, and I think just really battling out like a couple guys, Brody Hauser, Oliver Barracks, a couple of our receivers. When big plays are needed, they're there. In the game against Calhoun, they had 2 humongous plays. Wyatt threw a great ball to them. They were able to make a play, just get a lot of chunk yardage down the field, and just like piggybacking off of those big plays, just able to keep driving down the field, and just I think it also encourages our players more and just strives us to keep driving and scoring more.
Yeah, and I'd say from like a practice perspective, especially at the beginning of the season, our first game against Buford Academy, we came out pretty well and we put together 2 solid drives.
Yeah.
And I mean, the whole year we've been able to really move the ball between the 20s really well. It's just we would stall out a little bit when we would get to the red zone and things like that. And so, I mean, really, it sounds cliche, but our coaches have just preached like staying the course.
Yeah.
And I mean, after the second game of the season, our OC texted me and he said, "Man, keep the faith. Like when this offense starts churning, like it's going to be good. I promise you." And we really have just stayed the course in practice, and we haven't, panicked and hit the erase button and gotten rid of our entire offense because it didn't work as well as we wanted to the first couple of weeks. We stayed with it, and I think that's something that's hard to do as a team and as a coaching staff. Even that's really hard to do. And
Yeah.
so we kind of just stayed the course, and it's started to work out for us. And we've got a game against a really tough PD defense that's going to really test us. And I think we're really excited to see how we do. I mean, this is an opportunity that a lot of guys have been working for 4 years, and we're super pumped about
I mean, just talk more about what this means, just in terms of the scope of the program. Second year for McFadden, and you saw a lot of strides being made last year, but just go back to the beginning of just being around this program and the struggles that it had at first for you guys. Just how important is this for you, but also just to see what you have done for the direction of this program, getting an enormous victory in the postseason.
I think it's great. I think that for Coach McFadden, this is, it's a testament to Coach McFadden. That as he said today in practice, like the job's not finished. We're not satisfied with one playoff win. Like we know what type of football team we are, and we know what we want to do. And he says, don't be scared to talk about it. State championship's the goal, and that's our goal, and we've got to stay the course. But it's a big tribute to Coach McFadden. As you guys probably know, I mean, he coached Division I football for 20 plus years, and he is a genius. And so for him, it obviously takes it's a different level working with Division I college athletes versus high school kids, and he has made the transition I mean, incredibly smoothly. And I mean, he knows how we all feel about him. I mean, we absolutely love him. He's a genuine guy and an even better football coach. And
The
so
thing
this is huge for him.
The thing that I loved about getting to talk to him, I talked to him briefly at Media Day, but I interviewed him for about 35 minutes before the season started, had that on my podcast. The thing that I love about him, and you guys know this firsthand, is he talks about certainly the relationships between you guys, but the ability to have honesty, communication, trust, and all those core values. He talks about family and I remember this vividly. I talked to him and he said, I'm going to take the guys out on a fishing trip and we're going to have some contests out there on the water and whatnot. He was really excited about it. Just talk about the thoughts you guys have of playing for somebody like that, playing for a man like that who not only tries and succeeds at getting the best out of you athletically, but internally to make you guys become much better men and eventually, as he is, maybe, great husbands and fathers one day.
I mean, yeah, I think he just brings together a really great brotherhood because that's really what football is. You got to be, I mean, you're fighting with your brothers out there. And I think Coach McFadden does a really good job of just bringing everybody together. Everybody loves each other on the team. There's never any bad arguments or anything. And I think just really having a close team helps you perform better. And I think he's all making us better men. And I think everybody on this team has a bright future ahead of them because of him. And I think he does a really good job of just making everybody come together and just perform like you're fighting for your brother.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean that's
What?
fantastic.
Anything to add to that?
Go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say he is. We at prep. It's a tradition. We do senior speeches. Every senior's got to give a speech, and mine was a shout out to 6 mentors. I feel have really helped me in my life, and he knows he was one of them. And I just say he is a great human being, and he's somebody that can be your buddy in the hallway and put his arm around you, but he's also somebody he'll make you do up downs at practice when you forget your practice jerseys. And so, he is an awesome football mind, but he's an even better human being. And we as a team, we love him and appreciate him so much.
I want to hear about the fishing trip.
Oh, fishing trip. I mean, so that's the second year in a row we've done it, and the fishing has not been as spectacular as you would imagine living on Hilton Head. But it's more about just having a good time and bonding as a
Exactly.
team, and that's what it's been about.
Speaking of which, you guys been in the deer blind this evening, or is this just a trial?
No, we're having a bonfire. We don't have school tomorrow, and so
Right.
some of our friends got together and had a bonfire. This is the warmest jacket I have.
Okay. I was like, dang, you guys sitting in the deer blind after football practice? I mean, I know they do that at Patrick Henry and Tom Taylor, but
we don't have access to that down here.
I don't think there was any place you could hunt deer on Hilton Head, but
Maybe a couple hours away.
To get back on track after
Well, I was
off,
gonna
I was gonna say you've got to play this PD team. This is the elephant in the room. We're all excited to go into the semifinals, but the last time you played PD was a bit of a downer. I surmised the other night that there was a turning point after that game. Kind of are we going to do this or not type situation. Maybe a come to Jesus talk, if you will. And you guys really turned a corner after that. So give me kind of your perspective or your outlook about going in and playing a team that you really have nothing to lose because nobody expects you to be able to flip around a 40, what was it, 42 to nothing or 45 to
44, I believe.
Yeah. Nobody expects you to flip that except you, right? So how do you approach this?
It's all about believing in yourself and it's hard to get people to believe it when they don't see the work that you've been putting in. And I mean, I've said it before, like PD has my respect. They played a clean game against us and they were nice guys. And obviously, I mean, we want to beat them as badly as you can, but they were nice guys. We got a lot of respect for them and they're a great football team, but it's all about, having belief in yourself and what you're capable of doing. And, they're not the same team as they were when we played them earlier in the season. And we're not the same team as we were when we played them earlier in the season.
Right.
I mean, we've made strides offensively and defensively that some of them have shown up on the scoreboard. Some of them have not shown up on the scoreboards. And it's all about, as I've said, it's just having belief in yourself in the process and trusting the guys around you. And seeing what we can do. I said it in before the John Paul game. I said, our playoff hopes are still alive. It's our goal. We just got to make it to the playoffs and see what we can do from there. And that's what we're trying to do.
One win away from Charleston Southern.
How about it?
Yep, pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, just talk about you mentioned the PD game, but I want to hear about just these last few weeks heading up to the playoffs. I mean, you guys looked very good against St. John's Christian, getting that win at home, and then really pressured Hilton Head Christian Academy in a always a great rivalry game. What did you? And then before that, of course, you had to go on the short week to Dillon Christian. So there were a lot of situations throughout that period which were just out of your control and just really tough tests for you, just having to play in such a short time span after being St. John's Christian. Talk just what you learned about yourselves and as a team through those last two games of the regular season to prepare yourself for what was ahead as you went on to go to Collin Academy, eventually get that win.
Yeah, I mean, I think we kind of just had to stop and look at ourselves and just keep believing. I mean, we were still in playoff chances. We were able to beat St. John's, and we were automatically in the playoffs with that region win. So I think it was a quick turnaround for Dillon Christian, but I think after that loss, I mean, I think everybody's kept thriving and didn't not believe themselves and just wanted to keep pushing and go towards the goal, which is obviously the state championship. And I think everybody's done a good job of just staying persistent and just keep fighting. And yeah.
Yeah. I'd say that I've obviously, as you guys know, Davis and I have both we've played for this team for 4 years, and we've had those games like Christian Academy where it's a nail biter and we keep it close and we don't pull it out. And we've had many of those games, and I think Christian Academy was kind of just that was proof that okay, we know we had an opportunity to win that game, and we had an interception and we had the opportunity to drive down the field and score, and we ended up having to punt. But that was kind of just proof that we can do this and we can compete with really good teams. But it was all about putting everything together and being able to learn to win, as coach said, and get that win. And so once we had the proof that we could do it, it kind of I think it kind of sparked some belief internally as a group, and so we were able to pull that out. Which, yeah, I mean, it's all
You
about
broke the
learning to win.
seal. You broke
Yeah,
the seal, baby.
exactly.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Maybe we
sir.
can get another one this week. Well, long bus ride up to PD. What do you guys do to keep yourself occupied? How do you get locked in on that long bus ride?
Might take an hour nap,
Yeah.
just stay refreshed. Get a little closer to the game. Probably put some music in. Just get in the zone and just go out and be ready to perform.
What's on the playlist?
A little bit of everything. Earlier bus ride, probably some rap when we get closer. Probably more rock.
Okay.
All right.
Leonard Skinner.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
A little bit of Linkin Park.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
Nice.
Wyatt, what are you doing?
Yeah, I don't know, and Coach McFadden he's big on this is it's not a field trip, like we're not going up there to have fun. He wants us to stay locked in during the
Business
bus
trip.
ride.
Yep. I
It's
feel
a
you.
business trip, and I don't know if this is frowned upon or not, but I'm a big fan of just turning on a movie
Sure.
and locking in. I love watching football movies. Remember the Titans is a great one.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
another one called Greater. I don't know if y'all have seen that one. It's a fantastic movie. And then once we get up close, I usually got the music on the speaker in the locker room. The guys know I'm a pretty big Eminem fan. I think he can get you in the zone.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And
He
then
writes incredible pump up
Yeah.
oh
games.
yeah, and then
For
I'll
sure.
Yeah.
I like
I'll throw
Collapse. I
on.
like Collapse is one of my all-time pump up songs.
Oh,
Yes.
that's my go-to. That's what I
That's
play
it.
before
Yeah.
every game.
All
I mean,
time.
if that doesn't get you riled up, I don't know what will.
Yeah, man.
That's one of
I'm
the
with
best
you
ones
on
right
that one.
there.
All right.
But
Well, you guys are in
I'm
good
sure
hands
it
with
was hype
Harmer on
on the ride home after you guys got the win at Cal. And just talk to me about that experience and coming together to get such a massive win. Just describe the celebration and excitement afterwards.
Well, actually, so most of the celebration took place in the locker room and on the field. There
Everybody
was that.
rode home with their parents, right?
No, everybody rode home on the bus. Most people rode
Oh,
home on the
okay.
bus, but there was that big adrenaline rush, on the field. And then once we hit the bus, my strategy I lay down on the aisle and I
Yeah.
sleep. And
Yeah.
it was quieter than you would think. I think we were all worn out after a
Probably
tough
exhausted.
game.
Yep.
Yeah,
Did you
and we
even
didn't get back
stop
till
at
around
Stuckey's
2.
or anything?
Do what?
Did you even stop and get food or anything?
No, so we don't. That's a interesting trip. There's when we go
Yeah.
play TD, we usually stop at Bucky's.
Sure.
But we didn't. I don't think we passed one. We didn't. The team
No.
moms. Big shout out to them. I don't know if any of them
Yes.
are watching, but they provide pregame, postgame meals.
Oh,
And a
nice.
big shout out to those
Oh,
team
yeah. So you
moms.
don't have to
That's
fool with
awesome.
that. It's
Yeah.
always a disaster when you got to stop with the whole team and it takes an
Right.
hour to get
Right.
your food.
Takes,
Yes,
And
sir.
takes a long
Exactly.
time.
yeah, that's no bueno.
Yeah,
But
but just talk to me about the opportunity in front of you coming up this week against PD, against a team that you have played before. Tell me about what this opportunity will do for you in terms of just fueling yourself to get this added chance to not just beat a team that showed off against you earlier in the year, but to get to a state championship game with a win.
I think just we have a lot of momentum moving forward right now, getting that big playoff win. So I think if we just continue having that having that energy behind us, we got to perform like we did against Calhoun, and we got a good game plan for them. And I think if everybody does their 111th and we get it going on offense, that we can really have a tough game.
Yeah, I think everybody knows the magnitude of the opportunity we have, and as fun as the Calhoun Academy game was, there will be time to reflect on that in a couple of weeks and really break that down and celebrate it. But for now, it's back to work, and so it's all about staying focused and staying the course for this week.
Right on, man.
Awesome
Well, thanks
stuff.
so much, fellas. We appreciate it, and again, congratulations on the payoff. Here last week with the hard work you put in coming through and getting that big playoff win. I know that erases a lot of those tough defeats, and you can definitely write another chapter this week. So, best of luck to you, fellas. Get to work, and we'll see how it goes on Friday night.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys so much.
Thank y'all.
Good luck,
Yeah,
guys.
be well,
Thanks for
fellas.
joining
Have a
us.
good one.
Y'all have a good one.
Wyatt
You too.
Harmer and Davis Cargill, stars from Hilton Head Prep.
Man.
Big 27-26 win over Calhoun Academy on Friday, and they're into the semifinals against PD Academy. So they'll be going up. They'll be hitting Buc-ee's afterwards. Hopefully, a happy Buc-ee's trip.
Wouldn't that be something? But yeah, I mean, just so proud of both of them, especially Wyatt Harmer, who's had a decent time now as quarterback for this team, and really put in so much additional work. And you just really got to feel happy for a guy like that who has certainly been through the ringer a couple of times, in just terms of how this program has been these last few years, and how much he has had to really just bounce back from a couple of tough points throughout that program's history. And man, what a strong rock that Cargill has been this year. And you really saw it that first game as Buford Academy. Those first two drives, like I said, they're really promising, and then just it kind of fell off. Unfortunately, their BA ran away with it, but it just showed what this team could get to if they really buckled down and just worked to try to get to another level. And now you're starting to see it at the right time. And man, what a game! Missed field goal late by Calhoun Academy, but just what an effort by Prep to just find that way to jump on them early and do enough to hold on in a tough environment, and especially for a team that just has had so much adversity and things go against them, to put it all together like they did on Friday. Special stuff, and no matter the results on this coming week, it is a successful season in a big way for this program. And these kids deserve more than anyone. These kids have worked to a higher standard than other schools, just with the tough challenges that's put upon them, with how this program has gone. So cannot be prouder of those two, and really everyone, this entire team, especially all those upperclassmen who've had to really go through a lot in terms of the trajectory of that program.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
I'm super happy for McFadden, and especially for those guys that have, like Davis and Wyatt, who have been in there for 4 years and been through some tougher times. I mean, it hasn't been easy. We've talked about it before, about there have been years where their season was kind of lost early on, and they were just playing out the string, but they always played hard. And those guys have grown up a lot, and obviously just really sharp young men who are destined to do well in life. Their football careers probably won't last too much longer, although I think they both have prospects of playing at the next level, like D3 type places. But
love that.
But they're going to go on and do great things, So, and McFadden obviously well connected to the college football ranks, and especially the high academic institutions. He coached in the Patriot League, so he's going to know a lot of people at those kinds of schools and can connect the dots for him. But anyway, let's get back to what we had going on Friday night. Do we want to check out brackets? We got brackets. We got brackets. So We got Hilton Head, the only team advancing in Class 4A. They will host Wilson, which defeated May River on Friday night. Bluffton falling to Gilbert, which
Mm.
is the shocker of the Loco.
Without question.
Should we give Bluffton a proper post-mortem here? I mean, this was the team that entered the season with the most hype. I think we were kind of trying to pull the reins a little bit and say, like, hold on. I know I was, and say, hold on. Hilton Head is really good. This is a lot of new pieces
I
to
mean,
fit together, and but there's no doubt it was the most hype. People were yelling at us about state
I mean, I
champions.
had them as my favorite going of the year, but not by much.
Right.
I had Hilton and May River right on their tail, and for good reason. The Seahawks have shown that they were ready to continue to be competitive this year, but just the way the offense looked and the guys they had at their disposal, it it was exciting, and to think that this season ended a lot sooner than they anticipated to, and just a game where Gilbert's a good team. You can't say they're not. They really came in and executed to near perfection on the road, which is just a ton of credit given to Gilbert
Yeah.
on what they did. But certainly, you would have loved a better performance by Aiden McCarthy and that entire Bluffton offense, and it takes an entire team effort. And just good on Gilbert for getting to the quarterback and making life tough for Aiden McCarthy. And there were signs that I've seen just inconsistencies from Bluffton earlier in the year that I just thought they would be a little bit more cleaner and just a
Well, it
little bit
was
more
it was a lot of
careful.
that same stuff
Yeah,
that came up Friday night. It was penalties. They had 3
yeah,
touchdowns taken off the board by penalties.
yeah. Those
Right,
are
Marcus? 2 on offense, 1 on defense. They
That's
had
right.
at least 2 touchdown passes dropped
Yep.
on the hands.
that
So
is
it was
just
just
missed
those little
execution.
attention to detail
It
Yeah,
things
was
that
and
it
that's
was
reared their
that
head.
yeah.
and then I was even talking about, and certainly I watched film on Gilbert. They have a lot of really good athletes, and they're going to give anybody that they face going forward. Certainly they've got a game Friday, but anybody that they face going forward, they're going to give a test because they are better than that record of 5-5 entering the playoffs for sure. But just the moments where it seemed as if the composure that we are used to seeing from Bluffton for the most part, week in and week out, there were moments of chippiness and
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
tough, hard nosed stuff where it kind of crossed that line. And I have to be honest. I don't think Bluffton handled it all that well.
Yeah.
And I think things were kind of crumbling as the game was going on. It was definitely shades of what I saw last year against Hilton Head. And I hadn't quite seen a performance like that from them since. Obviously, they were struggling at parts to kind of gel at the beginning of the season, but they really got on a roll. And I certainly agree with Wes that, I thought that they were going to be definitely amongst the favorites. Obviously, we see what Hilton Head's doing, but it was Hilton Head and Bluffton, kind of take your pick for me. And I was just I'll say I was very surprised to see what I saw out of them on Friday night, unfortunately. And hopefully going forward they can do some things a little bit differently, whether they install a few different things. I'm not sure what they're going to be doing, but they need to handle certain
Well, yeah,
things
I
a little
mean,
bit
there's gonna
differently.
be a sea change as far as personnel
and
goes, right? I mean, you had a ton of seniors on this team.
and that's
Um,
that's very true.
who knows
um
what the offense looks like? Holly's back. Patterson theoretically is back, although I've already heard rumblings that he'll be going elsewhere. Um, uh, I've already been told he's going to Benedictine. I don't know if it's true, but that's what one person told me. Regardless, he'll be shopping. So it's hard to say what they'll have back, and that makes me wonder. We're at that kind of stage where a young coach, if he was going to move on to try to take a step up, would do that, right? You've kind of got a turnover in personnel. So, I suspect, and I'm just speculating here, but it would make sense if Hayden Gregory is not planning to be here forever, but is looking to maybe move up to a larger market or something like that. That this would be one of the off seasons he looked around to see what was out there. That doesn't mean he's
I would
looking to leave, but
right.
that's it's on my radar that this might be a year for him to take a look.
I think based off how the last 2 years have ended, I
Yeah,
would think that it would be up. I would actually think that it would be more on my radar after next year, seeing how things go.
yeah,
Um,
but
I just kind
it's
of have
almost
that
like a
feeling.
rebuild next year, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
there's
I guess I don't
Yeah,
know
it
enough
could be.
about
We'll
all their
know
personnel, but it
more in the
feels kind of
spring for
rebuildy.
sure.
yeah.
But we'll see. He's certainly done a tremendous job of
Oh,
building hype around that program, of bringing
absolutely.
energy to
But
that
the
program,
results
of
have not been there in the
attracting players
playoffs.
to that program. But right,
And
and
that's
the
what
results of
without question.
the endings have been disappointing. And
Yes.
Well,
I don't know that you can.
to be fair, they have gotten the better of their rivals in terms of May River, but certainly, I
Well,
think
not last year in the playoffs.
true. But two of the last 3 years in the regular
Yeah,
season, they've beaten them. So,
right.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I guess the playoffs do matter.
And
Playoffs
they
are the ultimate,
Yeah,
the
they
ultimate,
do matter.
right?
yeah,
So,
yeah. I
I
thought that
mean,
kind of canceled out and getting them in
yeah,
the regular season last year.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
But that was what surprised me was Gilbert had a little more in the passing game than I anticipated.
Peyton Comer really got after it late in that game on
Yeah,
Friday. He was all over the place in what I was seeing on film against Brooklyn Casey. RJ Curse was another really good target, and he was doing a little bit of everything. Certainly, a fine player for sure, and just what a job by Kit McLaughlin and company. They really played well, and we saw the running game that I was talking about get after it certainly, and make things
yeah. I
difficult
mean, it's just a matter
for
of just
Bluffton.
backing up that talk, and it just seems like Hayden Gregory has said a lot about this program is on the right track. It's going to continue to improve and really take that next step, but we just haven't seen it come to fruition. And it's just tough because
Yeah,
this I feel like the last few years this team has had a ton of potential with who they have brought in, and some of the guys, like a Linder, like a Carnell Warren, some players who have really made big impacts. And it just seems when the playoffs have come around, they have not had that level of execution that they have needed. It's frustrating because this program has certainly had a good fair share of talent and none bigger than what we had this year. But the defense just
Brandon
unable
Bryant
to enough,
too.
and the offense
yeah,
just not as consistent enough compared to what you have seen. And it just and that kind of gives a lot of credit to what BJ Payne is doing with Hilton Head, and just the way that he coaches his team and the depth that they have. Just a great showcase of what it takes to build that and cultivate that successful group. And I will say that Gregory's done a good job. He's brought that program in a good direction, no doubt about that. But certainly, I think his standards have been higher than what we have eventually seen
Yeah,
up to this
yeah,
point. And now the question is, where do they go from here? Because a couple of years where it just looked like they had the potential to make some deep runs, they fizzle out.
right, right.
And what will happen from here in terms of finding ways to build a program and continue to delve deeper
Oh, that's
into
on the
it's a
hands.
difficult foray classification. There's no doubt about that, but it's going to be interesting to see where Bluffton will go from here, knowing that they still have a good talented uh, you potential younger group that's coming up, but it's a matter of can they find that postseason success and continuing to strengthen just that buy-in level. And I think it's there,
Yeah,
but still, I feel like there's a lot of room to grow over there at Bluffton. But
yeah,
I'm excited for that program. They've had some good build up. John Hop did a great job when he was there, and then Hayden Gregory really exhibited a strong foundation to really amp it up even further. Now can they find a way to take that next step? And sometimes that can be tough. It's never easy, especially around here. I mean, there's some really good
Right.
programs in the state, and you really have to find a way to earn it. And it just
Yeah.
goes to show when you have those good years, like when Gregory or when Libran had that state championship year, got to it and won it again.
Mhm.
That
Buford,
he's
yeah.
shown it's possible.
Success is fleeting.
I will say we're talking so much about the guys that are leaving, and rightfully so, but they do have some good, solid guys coming back.
Yeah.
Definitely should be anyway. One guy that I think of that I can't help but mention just about every broadcast that I have because he does make some big plays is Roman Benjamin.
Yeah.
He'll be back. Aiden Howell should definitely be back.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they're losing Lucas Gates to graduation, but Jacoby Saunders should be back.
Yeah.
Maybe even a guy like Jim Williams, who's a senior next year, could get in and make some plays. I don't know if he would maybe line up somewhere else other than quarterback, but
Right.
you got a chance to be a little bit creative if you're Hayden Gregory and that staff figuring that they come back next year. It's going to be very interesting to see how this Bluffton team looks
Yeah.
come the springtime.
Yes, it will.
Yep.
But tough ending for the Bobcats. Certainly after what was a really exciting regular season, but I got some highlights. Wes, I was having trouble downloading your videos today, so I'll use the huddle video. I was able to get some of them downloaded and use them for Loco Lights, but I couldn't get them all to download for some reason. They're being weird. But we got some huddle video. The Seahawks are our only team still standing in 4A after May River dropped a tough one, 36-28 to Wilson, and that'll be the next opponent for the Seahawks, who Caden Stewart was
What a dude.
the man of the hour
Oof,
on
that
Friday.
guy.
Four
He came up
catches
clutch
for
early in that game, and man,
168 yards, 2 touchdowns.
what a tremendous addition that he has been just to the overall success of this passing game offense. And it's just been that it has not just been Jeremiah Walters. Stewart,
Right.
his ability to get open and make some big plays downfield in clutch situations as this season has gone along. I mean, it just speaks to that ability of some players that have really taken the initiative this year for Hilton Head. And we've talked about this a little bit, but it just seems like there's another one who steps up, comes out, and puts up a big time showing, and maybe not the biggest stat line, but just makes the clutch plays. And we're just seeing that a lot from Hilton. And the buy-in we talked about buy-in with Bluffton. The buy-in is certainly there with Hilton, and it really starts at the top with Renishevsky and Zernecki has been a big part of that too. But it is really just spread throughout the entire team, and the defense has gotten some of that as well. And it's just a really cool sight to see for this team, this program in general, to have this kind of success, because this is special territory. I mean, Hilton Head has not had this level of success since the 1990s in terms of
Right.
this amount of
Van
success,
Utley.
the season and carrying it over to the playoffs. So it's really been cool to see as a Seahawk alum, and just the way they were able to make big plays in that game, convert early on third downs and even on fourth down as well. It just goes back to the wants and the will of these guys to make it happen. And they just know how to really prepare well over there, and the facilities have gotten upgraded the last couple of years over there on the islands, and
Yeah, they
the
look
coaching
great.
staff has just done a tremendous job. I mean, Payne has been part of that, but others as well have really done such building up the team as a whole. And the other guy I mentioned, Aiden McDonald, who made a big play yesterday or Friday on the fourth down. It just seems like there's so many players that just don't know how to deliver in those third down, those fourth down situations. A
lot of
doing
unsung
something.
heroes.
You
I
you
mean,
Hilton has a ton of them.
Yeah, you mentioned Wes, certainly the coaching staff and what they do. We certainly think of BJ Payne because he is a defensive mastermind as well as being the head coach and managing the entire program. I talk about Sarah Bichkowski more all the time. She handles everything from the director position, director of football operations. But a guy that I haven't talked about as much, and I'm definitely going to bring him up on Friday when I'm calling the game with Max, is their offensive coordinator, Jalen Whitlock, who is just absolutely outstanding with what he's able to do, finding situations and working through the plan. You plan your work and you work your plan. He does that as well as anybody on that in that program of passing the ball versus running the ball, going through all of those situations and finding out what works best. And obviously it is working because this team's 9-1 heading into the playoffs. And now they obviously won on Friday. So he's another guy that just is doing sensational stuff. And I'm really excited for this game on Friday. It's if you're going to be at the game, bundle up. It
Yes.
is
Yeah.
going to be quite
Well,
cold.
it's actually
By the end of the night, I think temperature could be in the low 40s.
yeah, actually, it's gonna get a bit warmer by the end of the week. Gonna be in the mid 50s, so not as cold. It's gonna be cold tomorrow, but
Maybe it's the low 50s I'm thinking
yeah,
of. It's
warm.
still
It's
going to be
warm.
quite chilly.
once
Still
that
over
sun
the-
dips down, though, it's going to get
Yeah.
very
Oh,
cold.
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
sure.
51
At
is
least
the
definitely
low, I
bring a
think.
sweatshirt, maybe a light jacket over there. I definitely. Well, actually, I think I might be headed to
I would,
the Hampton game in Barnville, between
yeah.
the Hurricanes and Shiraz. So
Speaking of which, that's our only other public school team still standing.
Yeah.
Battery Creek, Ridgeland, Whale Branch, and Hardyville all bowing out in round one, but Hampton advancing. Before we moved on from Hilton Head, I wanted to note Raniszewski had a
Oh,
ridiculous game. I don't know if
wow.
y'all saw his numbers, but he was 14 of 16
Whew.
for 271 and 3 touchdowns. And you saw some of the dimes that he was throwing downfield. I mean, he is making some big time throws. He is playing at an incredibly high level.
Yeah.
And I think he's been a little bit overlooked, just because we've had some other quarterbacks putting up big numbers, but he's been tremendous this year. But no, Hampton moving on as well. You guys want to take a guess at Jalen Singletary's line? He had 17 carries, 279 yards, and
Oof.
5 more touchdowns.
Oh, good grief.
He is off to the races. Terrell Grant had a long touchdown run, 69 yards on just 2 carries, but it was mostly Singletary. They won big 56-22 over Lake City, so they get Shiraz in round 2, and that's going to be a real test for them. Wes, I think you're going to have a Donnybrook
It'll be a
on
good
your
one.
hands. Barnville should be good. I'm really excited about Hampton, but I mean, just like we saw last week with Bluffton,
Yeah.
all it takes is really one bad half, and that can
I mean, everything's
lose that
magnified
mantle.
in the playoffs. So if you
Yep.
turn the ball over once, or just unable to, even just like one big drop on a third or a fourth down, it's significantly magnified in a game between two close teams like that. And I like the way Hampton came out, although they kind of were a little sluggish early. Once they found their groove, they really got going. I'm not worried about that start. I think they're going to just build on this and look to keep it going next week. Shiraz is a sneaky good team. I mean,
Yeah, they are.
they had certainly they've had some struggles this year at times, but I think they've been playing well heading into the playoffs, and it's just a really tough. They always match up at a high level. I mean, they play aggressively. They're a good hard-nosed team. It's just you really have to be on your game, and Hampton's gonna have to work for. I mean, they've come in winning 4 straight, including they've allowed just 7 points or less in 3 of those games. Even the North Central team, which is not a bad team, but they beat them 42-7. So
Yeah,
they're
that
really
region got weird.
Yeah.
Those teams all beat up on each
Yeah.
other in that region.
Well, I mean,
traded.
they only lost by 7 to Marlborough County, and
Right.
they only lost by 7 against Central. So I mean, this
Yeah.
you cannot sleep on this Straw team. They will play you tough. So I'm a little worried, but I kind of feel like Hampton's due for a big time win at home. You just don't have much room for error against a team like this. I mean,
Right.
they will make you pay if you don't play up to the level that we have seen before from this Hampton squad. And I'm excited. I think it should be a very tight game.
Yeah, should be a good one.
Absolutely.
And then we told you about Hilton Head Prep, but Hilton Head Christian's still in the fight as well. They won pretty big over Trinity Collegiate. They ended up pulling away 42-20 the final. Langhouse had a so-so game. He kind of, not his best game. Only about a 50% completion rate, 220, 3 touchdowns, but 2 picks. But Hudson Baker had 115 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground. Jackson Richardson continues to emerge as a real receiving threat. He had 9 for 125 and a touchdown. And encouragingly, that HHCA defense got after it. They had 15 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, and 4 picks. So big time night for that HHCA defense. They'll need something like that on Friday when they go to Wilson Hall. But I think that's a winnable game. I think there's a possibility that the Eagles will end up making us go to Charleston Southern.
I had a quote with Jessa Jeremiah earlier this morning on our production meeting at the end of it, just recapping some of the action, certainly the Bluffton Gilbert game that I called and a few other things. And I said, with that HHCA Wilson Hall game, that is also known as the Burn Bowl, because you got a bunch of us in the Hilton Head area for HHCA. Of course, her kids go there, and a bunch of us do. Daniel Court's daughter goes to HHCA as well, and then you've got Wayne Morris and his kids and
They
a
go to
few
Wilson
others.
Hall.
They go to Wilson Hall.
The
So
Bowl.
it's the Burn Media Bowl
Gotcha.
this
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Should be a fun matchup.
Yep.
I'm excited for Hilton Head Christian. I think they've got an underrated shot to compete in this game.
Yes,
I mean, this is a
I
team
agree.
that they have played a lot over the years, including the state title game a couple of years ago. So, they have good experience against a team like this. But can Hilton Head Christian show that they've turned that corner? And I think this is the week to do it. And what an opportunity for Crest Langhouse to really make his real time mark on this program, because the way that they dominated, or at least played that's not a bad Trinity Collegiate team, but the way they dominated gives me a lot of hope for what they can do on the road. But certainly it's a different animal compared to just playing at home and having to go on the road in a semifinal playoff game in SCISA. It's a much more difficult task. But I don't know. I think Rob Peduzzi has got these guys playing inspired football right now. These guys are really finding ways to gel, and the run game's starting to get going. Langhouse is starting to find it, and this defense has the capabilities of making some big time turnover plays. So I'm starting to feel better and better about the chances of Hilton and Chris Academy in this game. I think it's going to come down the wire. I think it's going to be an exciting one on the road, and it's great to see this after all the adversity that this season has gone has brought for them to be one win away from a state championship game and to be playing this well heading into it. That's goes back to the coaching staff and just the resolve of this team. And remember hearing with Max Araj and how bearish that he was in terms of what this program was heading towards, and how concerned he was. And now that is really, ever since that JP2 game, it's turning the other direction. And I'm really pumped for these guys, especially those players who have really taken steps forward these last couple of weeks. It's exciting stuff over there. We've known that Peduzzi's done it before. There's no reason why this team can't do it again and take it one step closer and to another state title. So I mean, I think Hilton Head Christian has a great shot, and I think Carlton Prep, and then Thomas Hayward probably
Hilton Head Prep, of course, at PD.
Yeah.
We talked plenty about that,
Yeah,
but yeah,
no, I think Hilton Head Prep. I think that there is a way forward for Prep in terms of competing in this game,
No
especially
doubt.
after I mean, all the confidence in the world after shocking Calhoun, and I just think there's something special brewing there, and they're going to give it a real shot. But I think HHEA is a solid chance. I think College and Prep does as well, um, and would love to have a nice long afternoon turned evening over there at Charleston Southern, get some food and hopefully cover some state champs. But it's one of my favorite Saturdays of the year. Heading down
yeah.
there, and I got a good feeling about a couple of these teams.
Hey, you want to talk about peaking at the right time? Thomas Hayward 2 weeks earlier lost to Carolina Academy on the
Yep.
road.
Yes.
This week they beat Carolina Academy 47-20. You want some numbers? I got some numbers. Tony O'Banner, 22 carries, 237 yards, 3 touchdowns. Josh Gibson, 9 carries, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a touchdown pass to Owen Enrique Palazzo.
Sounds like they both had about 3 bowls of Wheaties before the game each.
Yeah. It sounds like 2 seniors
Wow.
who have been a part of a program that is accustomed to winning state championships, or at the very least playing for them, who don't want to accept anything less than playing for another one. And man, they got
Right.
after it on Friday, and I think they're going to give Williamsburg everything they got, and whether it'll be enough is yet to be seen. But you don't want a lot of money betting on Thomas Hayward in November over the years, so you bet against them at your peril. But any other that we want to post mortem? The season's ended. Let's see. We had. There's not a lot to say about a lot of them. Buford's season was what it was. I thought they showed some progress throughout, but just couldn't compete with a lot of those
May
teams.
River, you kind of, as much as I'd
May
like
River's
to win this game, you kind
disappointing.
of saw it coming.
Yeah.
They just need a bit more on the offensive side to really take that next step against some quality teams, and they even still they had their chances against Wilson, but
Yeah.
just a couple
Stayed
of
right in it.
And
they
I want to go back to Battery Creek because that is a team that in spurts showed me a lot. I only saw them twice, and unfortunately, the game I called was not close really at all. The 48-7 or 48
Right.
to nothing game, excuse me, that they
Right.
had against Buford.
Buford.
But I saw them against HHCA in August, the second week of August, and they actually really competed hard in that game. Obviously, trench play was the name of the game because it was raining. We were in the midst of like
Right.
3 weeks of nothing but
Yeah.
rain. Ugh. I remember the week before I was going to go to that JP2 Colleton Prep game, and that was about as hard as I've ever seen it rain outside of a hurricane while riding in a car. But they played really hard in that HHCA game. They played really hard in the JP2 game, talking about Battery Creek
Yep.
and a few others as well. It's just they couldn't put everything together with what they had on the field.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I don't want to make this about what they didn't have. We know about that. And there are other situations throughout this area where that has been the case with other teams. Um, Regardless of all of that, though, this Battery Creek team, as long as they keep chugging forward and making things happen, I think Ed Susie continues to be the right guy for that program
Yep.
for a little while longer, certainly as long as he wants to be there. But they like some of these other teams that we're talking about, including some of the top teams like a Bluffton and like a May River. They need to take another step in order to get to where they ultimately want to be. Because folks, you all know this, I'm going to say it anyway. All of these teams want to win championships. That's why that's on the field. That's why they play
At
the
least
game.
theoretically,
Obviously, there's a
they
lot.
say they do. They say they want to, but
Correct.
it takes a level
There's
of
a lot more
commitment.
to it.
It takes a level of consistency and work. And at the end of
Right.
the day, the coach's job is to motivate that in the kids. But
And
sometimes you
and
don't have enough
through
kids who want it.
through that,
and
if you do have them, that's where the biggest life lessons are learned.
Yep. So, kids
And
have to
that's the
want it.
point. That's the
The kids
ultimate
have
point.
to want it. The kids
Yeah.
have to want it, and you have to want to be great. And that's a decision every day. And it's like our old friend Jack Usry said, you choose discipline or you choose regret. And
Exactly right.
and until you can get enough people bought in, like Hilton Head has, like Hampton has, and those are well-run machines. Those programs,
Yeah.
they year round they're checking in with those kids and making sure they're doing certain things. And it takes a long time
The
to build
right
up a
things.
program like that at a place that it hasn't been done before, because the expectations are just not at that level, and you have to establish those. So I think Susie's doing a terrific job at a really tough place.
I agree.
Like you said, I think he should get a few more years as long as he wants to be there. Because it's a hard place. It's a hard place to establish those expectations and that accountability and that success, just because it hasn't been there. I would say that one place where they have certainly established that, and they got through the hard times, and now they're getting through to the other side, is JP2.
Yes.
Tough loss for
Win
them. They
this
got
year.
in the hole early. They fought back a little bit, but it was too little, too late on Friday against Florence Christian. But man, what a year of growth for them. I mean, I
Night and day
believe
compared to what we saw even a year ago with that
I
program.
believe Shane said before the season that his optimistic goal was that they could win 4 games, and they surpassed
And
that.
They
yep,
surpassed it.
yep.
And I
That
thought
is
that was
that
pretty
shows maturity,
optimistic.
that shows
I did
growth,
too.
total team success. And Wolf was fantastic. What a breakout year Navin had, freshman season. What a spark that he
Boyden,
brought. And I thought the defense really worked hard this year, to the
yeah,
level where
And
they were they were competing against some solid squads as the season. I mean, Florence Christian, that's a good team. That's a solid program. Tough way to see it end, but for Shane Milligan and this team that bought in, you saw that from the start when they knocked off Carlton Prep to put
they were,
to really
and they're
put this.
young,
Yep.
young.
And then they just continued to excel from there, and certainly took their lumps throughout the year, but much better than anyone would have seen that season going for JP2. And now there's big time optimism going forward that this program can continue to build off what we saw here in 2025. I think Milligan's the right guy for the job. He's been a
yes.
tremendous hire and terrific coach, and really saw that on display. So I'm excited to see how they build on this going forward. I'm pumped to see what a program like this can do. I think for JP2, I'd like to see games. I love Hardyville. I love Richard Gray. It's a great place to play, but I want to see games on
Any
campus.
It's
yes,
coming. They're working
without
on it.
question.
They're
That
working
is
on it.
something I'd really love to see.
Sean
Yeah.
Thalen. My
Yes.
Yeah, he's
gracious.
the monster.
Man,
What a year
that
for
catch
him
that he
too.
had. In the Hilton Head
Remember
Prep
he
game.
wasn't going to play football at media day. They were trying to talk him into
Mm.
it, and they talked him into
But
it because he
I
was
mean,
trying to
Alan Wolf
focus
will be
primarily
back,
on
and
basketball.
Bennett's he'll be just
He's a heck
a
of a
sophomore.
basketball player
They
too.
have a ton of
Oof.
returners on this
Yeah,
JP2 team.
almost everybody, and
Yep.
and remember their best offensive lineman's a 9th grader, so
So
and he's
future
going to
is
be
extremely
their
bright
best
with what this team can do
defensive
next year.
lineman too.
I'm
Um,
excited.
Yep.
So yeah, it was disappointing to lose 10. I didn't think we'd lose quite that many on Friday. We're down to 6 already,
Yeah.
and it could get thin real
I mean, you
fast
never
this week.
know. I mean, you never know which week will be the last. With
Right. Last week it hit us last year it hit us like a ton of bricks. I was
In round
at
one.
Manning. Round.
You're right.
I was at
We lost a
Manning.
bunch round one like this year, but
Yeah, but I was at
we lost
Manning
just
for
about everybody
Hampton,
that second
and they
weekend.
lost,
Yeah.
and I realized that everybody else had lost, and I drove
Yeah.
home from Manning sad.
Oof. That was a rough one.
But hopefully we can make it longer than that this year. All right. Well, shout out to our other sponsors. We got Hudson's Seafood House on the docks, presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. We'll have a new episode for you on Wednesday night this week. We had a scheduling conflict on Tuesday, so we'll be coming at you on Wednesday night. And Hudson's is a great place for seafood, sunsets, and cocktails on Hilton Head Island, and sponsor of Under the Bus. We got HHI Windows and Doors, our old friend Coach Barron from Hilton Head Prep. hung up his whistle, focused on a new kind of screens at HHI windows and doors, improving your view of the Low Country. Our favorite personal injury attorneys in Beaufort have provide remarkable service, but they have a rare name. It's Twinge and Twombly. Twinge and Twombly, personal injury attorneys in Beaufort, proud sponsors of LowcoSports. We've also got Reverence Wrestling Club, our official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind, and the Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. And that brings us to our parting thoughts. Marcus
Actually,
Walsh.
we had some cross country action that took
Okay,
place
well, let's
over
get
the
into
weekend.
that. It's been an hour and 10 minutes, and I'm tired, but let's get into
Yep.
that and parting thoughts. How about that? What do you
Yeah.
got, Marcus Walsh?
All right, I'll start off. I've got a few quick ones. Got to see Coach Barron
Oh yeah,
film at WHHI on Friday when I was there, doing a little bit, or maybe it was Thursday when I was there doing a little bit of stuff, getting ready for the football game. Filming your view of the Low Country with Jessa Jeremiah and a bunch of others at the station. Always great to see Coach, for sure. Some news that probably won't shock a lot of people. Myself as a Cleveland Guardians fan, for sure. Both Emmanuel Clase and Luis
yeah,
Ortiz. Bye bye. Um, not a shock
forever,
at all. Yes, forever indeed. They might face about 60 years in prison,
which is
um,
insane.
which is
Murderers get
nuts.
less
Which
than
is
that.
nuts. It's nuts. Um, we'll see what happens down the pike, but they definitely did it, and they did it
Yeah.
in a big way. Um, so tough news there, but Cleveland will be able to rebound. Some sad news in the world of sports when you talk about two legends of their respective games, in my
Mhm.
opinion, with
Agreed.
Paul Tagliabue, the former commissioner of the National Football League, and if I'm being honest, it seems like he was the best of this era, going
He was
back a ways.
the first commissioner I remember in my
My
lifetime.
goodness
Right.
gracious. Rest in peace to Paul Tagliabue, and then from the Cleveland Cavaliers and a bunch of other teams over the years. And I actually saw this later
Hawks.
last night. Rest in peace, Lenny Wilkins. I shared that with my dad, and he was like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, last night. Died at 88. Both men with living exceptional lives, 84 and 88. And both were pillars and beacons of their respective sports. So rest in peace, certainly to them, and looking forward to seeing what happens this week for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Uh,
Um.
Wes,
Yeah.
want to talk cross country?
Yes. Cross country, but I was thinking you would have the results there,
Oh, I
but
do.
first,
I do have some results.
yeah, yeah. But quickly, happy trails to someone you probably love, JJ. Kyle Hendricks is retiring from Major League Baseball. Former World Series champion with the Chicago Cubs,
Yeah.
who had a tremendous season back in the day, or a couple tremendous seasons back in the day, but
Oh yeah.
prominent couple of years, especially early, when he actually started Game 7 of that World Series, which the Cubs won, and was a pretty consistent arm for them. And eventually he pitched for the Cubs all the way through. He pitched for over 10 years. And then he finished his career with the Angels this season. But, someone who really put in his time, 10 years in the majors, that means a lot. That means
Oh
in
yeah.
terms of, just the financial aspect of it, but just, notoriety of playing 10 plus years in majors, not just doing that, but a career 3.79 ERA, certainly some big time achievements for him. So someone that I'm sure you really enjoyed watching at Wrigley.
Yeah, I did. His changeup was devastating when he was at his peak, and he was really fun to watch. He was reminiscent. I mean, I'm not putting him in the same category, but reminiscent of Greg Maddux in the way
Mm,
he
mm,
approached it. He was precise, spotted everything, didn't have real overpowering stuff, but had great command of it, and changed speeds and locations well and hit spots. So it was always fun to watch him
yeah,
pitch, and you always knew he was going to keep you in the game. He
yeah,
was going to grind it out. So yeah, he was a great
yeah.
Cub.
My second parting
Uh,
thought, not as a little bit of downer, but he just Soft end of the season once again for USCB women's soccer. Season coming to an end, and a 1-0 loss, which kind of was their season in a nutshell. At least the end of it. Played teams tough, great defensive effort, just couldn't find the big goals this year, and you kind of saw it play out the way it has the last 5, 6 or so games from what we have seen from a program where I was impressed by their start. I really liked seeing the growth from some of those younger players, but it just seems there's still a few big time strikers, goal scorers away. And if they can find a couple of more pieces that just provide a little bit more of offensive explosiveness, I really like what Gary Boughton has potential to do there. I just think they need a little bit more to really compete in what is a tough conference, but they showed they're on the doorstep. They had a couple of several 1-goal losses, so they're I think they're right on the cusp of breaking through. They just need a little bit more support on offense and just a little bit more consistency and hitting those open passes when they need to. As this season has gone along, it just seemed like there were a couple of instances during games where they just weren't on that same page that they needed to be. They had some terrific players. Savannah Page was an outstanding, and she's going to be top 5 in a couple of categories now that her career has come to an end. And fantastic kid. I think she's going to do some big things in the medical field going forward. So all the best to her.
Awesome.
But I think this program's on the right track. I just think they need a little bit more, just in terms of pure explosiveness and talent on the offensive side. I think now that they're entrenched in like full-time Division II, I think that's coming
Right.
down the road. And I think Boughton's a great coach. I think he's got a great mindset, and I think this group of players really enjoyed and got a lot out of what Boughton had to implement. I like the system that he runs. I just think they need a little bit more talent on combined on what they have already. But it's tough to see because I really thought this could have been that breakthrough year, but not quite.
Yeah. On the other hand, that means it's a new
It is.
season at USCB,
Yes.
and on Saturday I got over to the Cove Saturday morning and hooked up with Kevin Libby and Jeff Riley, and we saw the first look at USCB women's basketball for the season. They had a little scrimmage with Coker. They ended up winning 60-52, or not Coker, Claflin rather, which was great because they brought our old friend Takoya Hayward back to town.
Yes.
That's
Got
right.
to see Koya and Court going head up, one-on-one a few times. And both of them look good. Courtney Campbell looked tremendous when they put her at the point in the fourth quarter, and really was the difference. Their offense really clicked with her at the point, and they
That's what
broke
she
out
does.
and pulled away. She had a terrific sequence of like 3 straight possessions where she just looked so in her element. No look pass to the corner for a 3, driving kick to Lydia, and she just missed the 3. And a couple of takes to the basket. She kept getting to the foul line and making bank there. So no, it was good to see. They got some nice new pieces. A lot of the returners, Jigsaw's back. Gatosi, of course. So it's going to be fun over there at the Cove, and it was great to see Koya too. She looked great. She
And that
really looked
was
good.
just a ladies scrimmage, right?
Yeah, just
The
women.
men
Yeah.
didn't play.
Yeah, the men open this weekend at Francis Marion. The women open at
Right.
home. So
Yeah.
they're both
Yeah.
situations where they're playing
Back-to-back
2
games, Friday and
opponents.
Saturday
Yeah.
night
Yeah,
when the
talked to
Cove.
Ron Fudala as well, and Luke Dyer from the men's staff. They're really excited. Can't wait to get going. They told me all about the trip to Puerto Rico, how much fun they had, how much the guys bonded together, and they played pretty well too. So they're really excited. On the cross country front, Wes, you mentioned
Yep.
it. The state qualifiers were Friday, and it was a good day for the Loco 4A. Buford, or not Buford, but Bluffton, Hilton Head, and May River boys and girls all qualified. Bluffton girls won their race,
Yep.
and on average time, they're about 10 seconds on average behind Bishop England, which won the other race. So they look like a real contender
Yep.
for a state
That's
title next week.
surprising.
In 2A, Hampton and Bridges, both teams qualified, as well as Whale Branch's Raymond Roel individually for the boys race. So shout out to those qualifiers. Our Canes went, our boys, they ran, we had three PRs, I think. Our lead guy had a 2.5 minute PR, which is amazing, but we came up just short of qualifying. So season comes to an end. But shout out to all the cross country runners that'll be at the state championships coming up this week.
This weekend.
Yep. In Aiken. Friday. I think they're Friday and Saturday. I think they break them up, but could be wrong.
Did anybody have 3-0 Eagles over the Packers at the end of 3 on their
Going
bingo
to
card?
Yeah,
No.
what the
I
heck
didn't.
is going on over here?
What in the world?
I've been looking up every once in a while going, what in the world is
The
happening
NFL
here?
as a whole has been very strange recently. I mean, Buffalo losing to
Right?
Miami. I don't think anyone saw that one
Yeah.
coming.
Oh my, they did. I didn't know that.
Yeah, badly.
It was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Did the Panthers pull that one out yesterday?
No, they lost in New
They
Orleans
lost.
at home. That was
Jeez.
really an inexcusable loss.
The
Young
Debbie
was not great. They were gifted.
Did those Meow Mix guys make a podcast?
I'm just saying how the NFL is so unpredictable, and there are no easy ones in the league. That's basically what it comes down to. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
No, I was asking if the Meow Mix guys made a podcast last week, if that was what ruined it.
Well, they said they were, and maybe they did. I'll have to dive in on that, but that might explain the poor performance this week for Carolina. And of course, the other big news is New York Giants fired their head coach, and
overdue, I would say.
Yeah.
Probably should have done that at the end of last season, frankly.
Thank goodness I've got 3 Indianapolis Colts on my fantasy team. That helped the blow of Atlanta losing.
A bunch of
goodness.
Of their weeks.
Indy could go to the Super Bowl this year. They are really, really
they
good.
I mean, I'm
gonna have to beat
I'm not sold yet. Even like I mean, Jonathan Taylor's been great, but I'm just still not 100% sold on
it's kind of them and the Patriots both.
I think the Patriots were for real. I think New England's for real. I think Drake May is a legitimate MVP candidate.
You might not be wrong.
I agree.
I'm kind of liking the Rams in the NFC now. They are really
what a whooping they put on San Fran yesterday.
Yeah, Stafford continues.
Stafford is
show out.
Stafford's had 3 straight 4-touchdown games.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
He's
like
balling.
my age.
Yeah, I think people may have forgotten how good they were a couple of years ago, and even without Cup, they're still able to. They've been still able to succeed in terms of. Yeah, and the coup has been great, but they've got some other guys too.
Crazy good.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Good stuff. We will probably be back on Wednesday, I suppose. I don't know. We'll talk about it. We could do tomorrow night since the Under the Bus boys are taking off tomorrow night, but I don't know that we need to.
Like tomorrow night might be the better option with Under the Bus on Wednesday, but
I'm not sure what we have to talk about tomorrow.
Maybe if we can find another guest or two on.
Perhaps we'll play it by ear and we'll see you out on them streets. But thanks so much to all of our sponsors for making all of this possible. Thanks to our guests tonight, Wyatt Harmer and Davis Cargill. Great talking to those guys. Best of luck to the Dolphins on Friday night at PD. And thanks to you for showing up to listen or watch. For Marcus Walsh and Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. Till next time, go Loco.